Hey everyone, Grobs again, back with another build video that I said would come out in the next couple of days. So I've got the Scourge Arrow Assassin, poison based, that I wanted to show off. We've hit level 89, and I just want to show you what it looks like. So we're just going to run a T16 map just to get a bit of idea of what the gameplay is like. Nothing too crazy, bit of early damage, reflect, nothing we can't do, bloodlines. The character's been really fun, really fast, very safe compared to a lot of the other characters I've played this league. And that was kind of the goal, is to still be able to clear really well. So as you can see, we pretty much shoot once and run, and as our virulence stacks build up, we don't have to do too much to do enough damage, even in T16s. The clear's pretty nice because of all the little Scourge arrows that go everywhere from the pods. So essentially the game style, guys, is hold right click for half a second and run. Pop your flasks, keep blood rage up for speed. That's about it. I just want to run through the map as fast as I can. I don't want to waste your time by watching the whole thing, but I just want to show you that the clear speed is quite nice, and we're not really focusing on clear speed. We're kind of focusing on more of a bossing, considering metamorph and stuff is rough. For bosses, you just drop down your totems, and he hits hard. These is where you go 5 stacks and just try to start building up your poisons. You'll see as the poisons build up, he does start to tick down super fast, especially with the wither as well. This part the same. I'm just gonna keep hitting them to gain my flask charges, make sure I get some frenzies. But the game style is super simple. I put in a Val BV setup here so I can drop that on bosses like this just to get extra stacks of poison on them as fast as possible. As you can see, guys, the damage is fine. I've obviously got no Val BV for the metamorph now, but I want to show you guys what the damage is like if you didn't have it. Oh, I can't even do the metamorph. Okay, anyway, it gives you a good enough idea. Metamorphs are no problem either. It's really not difficult. I don't even have a portal scroll. I didn't plan this very well, did I? Okay, anyway. Let me show you the setup of the items and the item priority if you are going to start this build. So far, this build has done every map I've thrown at it. T16s, we can run every single map mod. The only map mod that's a bit of a problem is, not a problem, but much slower, is reduced chance to poison enemies. It's like 75% or something like that. It doesn't matter. Those are a bit annoying. But okay, here we go. So Darkscorn is the base of this build. You can craft a better bow, but it's barely better. For the amount of currency you're going to spend, it's better to buy a Darkscorn. Now, we don't need our Darkscorn linked at all. I just did it because I wanted extra ramp up with a Blade Vortex on bosses and metamorphs. That's it. You do not need it linked at all. You can use this for whatever sockets you need it and want it. Our chest needs to have socketed attacks have -15 to total mana cost. This allows us to channel forever. Our Scourge Arrow costs no mana. So that's really nice. At the moment, the best setup, it's all on my pod, but the best setup is Scourge Arrow, Awaken Deadly, Mirage Archer, Awaken Unbound, Vile Toxins, and Awaken Added Chaos. Now, a lot of people are asking, is Mirage Archer worth it? And absolutely it is, just because it extra stacks the poison. It's good for clear, but it's also super nice on bosses when I hit and my Mirage Archer hits to stack poisons up as much as we can, because there's no cap on how many poisons you can have on an enemy. Now, I started the build, and my POB still has these in it. The Venomous Weave, which gives us Aspect of the Spider, and it gives us quite a bit of flat chaos and stuff like that. I played with them quite a bit, and the damage didn't seem much different to me. So what I did instead is swap to Asenaths for the enemies' explosions, and the fact that enemies that die still curse enemies near them and keep them taking more damage and slow them. So right now I'm not even running the temporal chains part of it. You absolutely can, and it'll help your offense and defense. I still have growth and decay allocated here because I only made this swap last night, but I recommend running Asenaths and dual cursing. So my other curse comes from my ring, Despair on hit on a hunter based ring. They're not super expensive. This one is quite expensive, but you can get them much cheaper. And the lines you really want on this is the poison damage and the despair on hit, which is nice. Poison duration comes with it. Belt is a slot for as many resists as you can. We need to cap our resist somewhere. Boots are the same. These are rubbish. I just had them in my stash. I haven't even bothered upgrading because the build has been face rolling T16s and Conquerors and everything, no problem. Now we do use a Circle of Nostalgia. The best rolls we can get is Chaos Damage and Buff Effect like this. There is a Damage over Time multiplier as well. That'll be just as good. And if you really want, if you can get a triple line, get one with Chaos Resistance. I got a bit of extra Chaos Resistance up the top of the tree, up the top on the implicit on this one. Buy a helmet with the enchant and try and make the rest of your gear work around its resists. because the enchant helps a lot for single target and it helps a lot for clear. It's just super nice when you have an extra spore pod that spawns. It's just much bigger. Same thing on get a broad head arrow quiver base, because it gives us a lot of damage. Get one with a lot of life and attack speed. If you have a lot of currency to spend, you can fossil craft one to have poison damage and stuff like that. I just haven't felt the need to get any more damage. On the amulet, we need a lot of int. So we need a lot of int to use our gear. So I went for, well, as you can see, this one has bulk int on it. The other nice thing to have is a chaos damage over time multiply, and try to get life on every piece of gear. I don't have perfect life on every piece of gear, and I'm sitting at 5.1k at level 89. We still have a few nodes to grab of life. We can easily get to 6k with good gear and filling out a bit more on the skill tree. As for the flasks, we run Corralitos for the perfect agony and just a lot of, we crit a lot, so we just do a lot of extra poison damage. A quartz flask with curse immunity for extra dodge. Sin's rebirth for unholy might, and a smoke cloud just makes it even harder for us to get hit. Alchemists of adrenaline just for speedy boy, and a bleeding flask. So far I've found this to be completely fine, nothing wrong with it. Now on the budget topic, this is a fairly expensive setup. It's not endgame setup, but it's fairly expensive. If you want to replace the Darkscorn, you can use a Lion Eyes Glare, much cheaper. It's a couple of chaos. I think it is. It's cheap. If you can't afford a chest with minus 15 mana yet, you can run 2 Praxis rings and maybe use a curse on hit setup like in your gloves or something. You can figure it out, but these gloves are fairly expensive too, whereas these ones are not. So start with the Venomous Weaves. That's not too expensive. The enchant is fairly expensive, but once again, you don't need it. It's just super nice. So you can just buy a helm with lots of life and stuff like that. But if I had to prioritize the things to buy in a certain order, it would be the chest, because it enables us to use our Scourge arrow and reserve more mana, so we do more damage. Then I would grab a ring with Despair on hit, would be my second choice. Then I would go for the Darkscorn as my third upgrade, and then I would go for the gloves as my fourth. Try Sniper Helmet at any point you can with the enchant on it, and even if you craft it with some life and resistance with some essences or something, that's too easy. Okay, onto the skill tree. Now, when you're doing your Ascendancy, we go Assassin obviously. The first point should be Noxious Strike. Second one, Toxic Delivery. I went for Mistwalker third, just because it makes you so fast and much more tanky. And then Opportunistic is just nice, especially for bossing endgame. When you are leveling, rush through to Coordination, grab the Damage Over Time nodes, grab the Chaos Damage nodes, grab both of these Hunter's Gambit Fatal Toxins, rush down and grab Swift Venoms, Toxic Strikes, and Farsight. At this point, you have quite substantial damage with poisons. It's your choice whether you want to scale more poison damage or go for life. What I did personally is did all the traveling up to here, so that whenever I felt I was squishy, I could start specking into life nodes and I could grab resistances. But once you've gotten Farsight and all these other ones, you can grab all the other damage, lethality, Master Fletcher, King of the Hill, and Acuity is really nice, especially as you level. Acro and Phase Acro, grab them when you feel you're starting to get chunked a little bit. Other than that, guys, the POB has the full skill tree. As for jewels, right now I'm using them for chaos damage over time and life. They're not the best jewels. I haven't spent money on them. These are ones I just crafted or found. This one's just a bit of life, and I needed a bit of lightning res because I'm not min-maxed, so do that. You can easily grab more jewel sockets if you need them. We're not far away from many of them. There's another one here, so if you need life, resist, like that. Like I said, this build can get to 7k endgame. I was looking to try get to about 6k. We can easily get to 10-12 million Shaper DPS depending on how optimized you are and how much you want to spend. Right now I think I'm sitting at about 6, which is fine. Like the damage is completely fine. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, write down any of your questions on the forum thread, YouTube. We stream every day, not every day, most days, on the twitch.tv/grobs with a 0. I appreciate all the subs. I appreciate all the follows. You guys have been unreal with the support. Thank you for watching. Click that sub button to turn notifications on. I've got another cool build coming in the next couple of days. And I hope you guys enjoy the build like I have. It's cleared everything we've thrown at it so far. Appreciate it, guys. Peace.